Good. How you doing? My name's Nick. I'm the founder of Yolk. Before Yolk, I was working an office job, working horrible hours, eating all my meals at my desk, and really feeling uninspired by the food that was on offer. And my kind of feeling then as now is that the seated restaurant market in London is amazing and really interesting. I think in a kind of grab and go and takeaway context, actually the food is like often really boring, and flavour really gets left behind. Things are either just designed for pure convenience or like pure health, whatever it may be. And we just wanted to do something that was kind of delicious and flavour forward. And so that was the kind of genesis of the idea. Started doing it initially as a pop-up in a very small way, doing kind of street food and kitchen takeovers at cafes and things like that. Had some great ones, had some awful ones, and like learned a lot through that process and honed it over the years to the point where we opened our first site in 2018. And now we have kind of 5 kitchens in London, all doing that same concept that we call fine fast food, but we've kind of continued to evolve and improve it over the years. And essentially simple food, but elevated. We're doing simple food, but always with a bit of a twist and a little something to kind of lift it above what you normally expect. So we mostly focus on breakfast and lunch, and we do have an evening offering as well. Breakfast, we do kind of poached egg pots, breakfast bats, really nice baked goods, and we do things like eggs Benedict to go, or like a bacon bat, but in a really delicious, organic, fun, excellent like smoked streaky bacon, and we do a version with Nduja and smashed devo and things like that. So it's kind of recognisable classics, but with a little bit of something else. At lunch, we have our Nduja club that's sitting next to me with like really delicious Nduja mayonnaise. Our steak béarnaise is a real classic. And alongside the sandwiches that you mentioned, we also have really delicious salads and rice pots on like brown rice with steamed fresh greens, roasted fresh meats, and really nice sauces. It changes a lot, because I eat at Yolk twice a day, which is great, and I'm constantly kind of finding a new favourite. I would say probably at the moment it's like a classic, which is the steak béarnaise. It was kind of our original sandwich, kind of a bit of a breakthrough for us when we were doing pop-up street food trading, and we found that this was like a real favourite. And I think it really speaks to what we try and do. No one else is really doing that in the kind of grab and go, like high speed kind of setting that we are. And it's just a real delicious, luxurious classic. And we really spend a lot of time working on it. We sous vide our steak so that it's really nice, tender, always perfectly medium rare bavette. We make our béarnaise in-house to our own recipe that we spent ages developing. So it's kind of close to our hearts. It's essential. I think we always try and kind of focus on flavour and what's delicious first. So like rather than trying to come up with a menu that feels like we're painting by numbers and we've got just, yes, there's the veggie option and there's the gluten-free option and there's the whatever. Like we really, we're mindful of that, but always we have to kind of come at a dish that starts from a concept that is, it's something we want to eat, it's something we're excited about, it's something that we want to have on the menu anyway. The highlights are just, the very first time we ever ran a pop-up, which was basically me and some friends volunteering at a shonky cafe in Finsbury Park where I live, was like a real high because I've never served more than about 8 people food at one sitting before, and we had kind of 100 people through the door on the first day. So it was terrifying, but really rewarding. You're really learning as you go along, and also you really don't, turning up at a street food market and it's raining, basically. No one comes and you waste half of your food and you stand in the rain for several hours. That's hard and dispiriting. And I guess the learning is just about toughing it out, basically. I mean, I suppose I learned a lot about how to run a kitchen. I had no background in hospitality beforehand, and we did like a lot of testing, a lot of new ideas. Again, most of which didn't quite make it to where we are today. So I guess learning about what customers want, what customers don't want, how we can run a kitchen kind of efficiently while still doing food that's really delicious. I guess those are the kind of key things I learned from that whole process. So there are a few things that we always strive for with our brand and when we're thinking about menu development, and that's that we want to be elevated, confident, satisfying, and accessible. I think elevated is an absolute core focus for us, and making sure that we're really noticeably a notch above a kind of obvious comparison. Confidence, I think, is about like doing simple things but with a bit of flair, satisfying for us. And that's not just about making sure that we're not skimping and that people have enough to make sure that they feel happy. Nailing the brief on flavour and making sure that we're not serving something that's a bit washed out, a bit anodyne, that doesn't quite do it for people. We want people to come away feeling like they really had like a moment of pleasure in the day, even if it's something that they're doing quickly on their way from a meeting or on their way to a train or whatever it might be. And then accessibility, and I think that that's really important for us. Like, we want to be something that's not just, yes, it's elevated, but it's not just something that either is like priced out of the market so people can't actually get to it, or that it's like too niche or too esoteric that people kind of aren't on board with it. So a lot of the food we have, it really is recognizable in terms of, it's a steak sandwich essentially, but we're lifting it up through clever techniques and by the fact that we're doing it all fresh in house, and we're trying to take it to a new level. It's been great. I mean, we've been working with Just Eat for Business since before COVID. It's really become like a key part of our business now, and it's a relationship that's grown and grown. I think it works really well for us because it's just a great way for us to access new customers and for us to kind of share what we do more widely. Our kind of mission statement is that we want to flavour busy lives, and I think this really helps us to flavour busy lives in a way that didn't exist like several years ago, and it's becoming increasingly a factor. Well, I think, given that our mission is to flavour busy lives, I think flavouring as many as possible. We're really ambitious for the business. I think kind of quality and excitement and deliciousness always has to be at the heart of what we do, but we kind of want to take that message to as many people as we can. And our feeling is there's still a lot of places in London and the rest of the UK where people don't really have the option to find something that is kind of affordable, it's convenient, it's like healthy and nutritious, but it's also actually something they really want to eat and can get excited about. So our plan is to try and keep growing the business and keep expanding. I mean, I mentioned it briefly earlier, but be persistent, be dogged. I think more than any kind of flashes of inspiration or kind of genius of ideas, the only way we've got to where we are now is by kind of having clarity over what we want to do and then sticking at it.